In Armed Tiger Delta, a claustrophobic, spiritually charged war drama unfolds as faith clashes with duty amid intense moral dilemmas. With a humanized antagonist and a young protege caught in a high stakes ticking clock scenario, the narrative leads to a powerful, sacrificial act of redemption, challenging the very essence of belief and loyalty. John, an American soldier, kisses his wife Beth goodbye at their Detroit farmhouse in 1918. She gives him a hand-sewn handkerchief and makes him promise to return. As he boards a bus with young Private Samuel, Beth collapses in grief after the bus disappears into a convoy. The war may be over in Europe, but John's unit, the Polar Bears, is being sent to Russia. Inside a command tent, trembling from distant artillery, General Riley gives John his mission: protect a set of top-secret codes that control the railway supply lines for 12,000 Allied troops. When John argues the mission is suicide, Riley demotes him to private, but makes him memorize the code sequence Armed, Tiger, Delta. John repeats the words, burning them into memory. A young soldier silently offers him a pair of winter boots, and John accepts them, knowing he will need to walk far into danger. Deep in a snowy forest near Pinnaga, John tightens his new boots. His squad, Bobby, a burly Marine, George, a terrified 17-year-old, and Samuel huddle around a small fire. George jokes about baseball in heaven, and Bobby quips about British-run heaven. John warns them, Tiger reaches the Delta in 5 minutes. Stay sharp. He studies the trees, knowing the enemy is close. The squad is caught in a firefight. Samuel falls into a snow pit and is yanked free just in time. A chaplain is shot dead while reading a Bible over a dying soldier. John screams at God, then takes the chaplain's white dog collar and a razor blade from a dead soldier's pocket. He kisses a family photo, buries it in the snow, and puts on the collar, but declares he hasn't forgiven God. He discards his handgun and grabs the chaplain's Bible. The captured Americans are thrown into a crowded truck bouncing over rocky terrain. John tries to write a letter about going to Paris, but his pencil snaps. He pounds his forehead in frustration. Bobby takes John's Bible and quotes David and Goliath, then leads the squad in their motto, "We finish with the bayonet." The chant builds as the truck's headlights cut through fog, revealing the Russian POW camp ahead. Bobby mutters, "Home sweet home." In a small, cold, blood-stained cell, John and Samuel brace for what comes next. Peter, a Russian Bolshevik interrogator, enters. He notices John's failed sign of the cross and teases him, demanding codes. John tells him to go to hell. Peter leaves a cup of water but takes the dog collar, narrowly missing the hidden razor. Bobby is led past the cell, blowing a defiant kiss to his guard. John clenches his fists, then picks up the collar and puts it back on, ready to play the role of priest. John slips out of his cell to give water to a dying prisoner chained in the corridor. The prisoner calls him father, and John almost corrects him, but stays silent. He begins to make the sign of the cross over the man, but stops. A boot scrapes. Peter is watching from the shadows. He asks, "You wear collar now?" John says nothing. Peter studies him, then has him thrown back into his cell with a thoughtful, "Interesting." In his cramped office, Peter is confronted by a Russian general who demands the codes. Peter negotiates, release his family in exchange for the codes. The general refuses and leaves. Alone, Peter looks at a photograph of his wife and daughters, whispers, "I do this for you, my love," and hides a tear. He adjusts a bloody bandage on his leg, grimacing in pain. His personal stakes are clear. He is fighting to save his family. George is thrown into the cell, bleeding. John treats his head wound. In a moment of levity, George and Samuel talk baseball, Babe Ruth and the Yankees, and George shows a photo of his girl on a beach. Then a prisoner outside shouts, "Armed, Tiger, Delta." John replies, "Delta," and sets his watch to 9 minutes. The coded message gives them a countdown. Peter bursts in, furious, but cannot break them. After he leaves, John reveals the hidden razor blade. They plan their escape. John, Samuel, and George slip into the corridor, but their escape fails. Peter appears, forces them back, and shoots Bobby in the shoulder. Bobby is dragged away, screaming. In the courtyard, 10 prisoners, including George, are forced to kneel for execution. Samuel begs John to give the codes to save them, but John refuses. "Orders are orders, we hold." A gunshot rings out. Through the barred window, John sees George's photograph with a bullet hole through it. In the courtyard, George and Bobby, wounded but alive, kneel in the snow with other polar bears. Bobby gives George his own jacket. He tells George he wants to see him grow up and have grandchildren. A guard tries to silence them, but Bobby turns to the other prisoners. To hell with giving up. I've got a reason to stand. We finish with the bayonet. One by one, the polar bears rise to their feet, refusing to kneel. The guards cannot force them down. Back in the cell, Samuel pleads with John to give up the codes. Let's give up the codes. It's not worth it anymore. John ignores him, drops to his knees, and prays the Lord's Prayer. Samuel mocks his faith, but John threatens to silence him. Then Peter enters, carrying a family photograph. He offers a trade, the codes for his family's freedom. Your men for my family. John studies the photo of Peter's wife and daughters. The room falls into tense silence. The dramatic question hangs. Will John sacrifice his mission and his chance to save thousands, to save his men and Patter's family? Or will he hold to his duty and let them die?